Hello out there, YouTube. I come to show you my wife's garden area this year. And believe this now, this year she planted nothing. She tried for the first time ever the chop and drop method. She just last season in the fall time, she went ahead and just cut everything down, left everything where it was, and didn't mess with the garden at all. Well, this year she has gotten quite a few beautiful watermelons, nice tasty melons, like this one here. This is the one I'm looking at for the next harvested watermelon. That was not planted by us this year, that was just left from last year. And then here we got this one. Yeah, she's got several nice tasty watermelons, give some away. Now the cucumbers, they came up in mad numbers. You know, cucumbers are a very given vegetable to plant. And then, like I said, the chop and drop method, you just chop it down, leave it laying. You know, you got some of the cucumbers, like she has the fence around to keep my chickens over there out when I let them out, because they like to come investigate the garden and clean up everything they can. Just see how you get them to grow through the fence here. Several of them had either grown through the fence and she'd just, you know, pull them off, throw them down there in the garden area last year. And yeah, that led to a lot of seeds being in there. So as you can see this year, there's all kinds of things growing there. And like I said, we planted none of it. Had so many cucumbers, it was one of those give them away or they're going to go to waste. So you got the occasional one like this that'll slip your sight and just lay there and wind up looking like that. And you know, we're not going to eat that. So we'll just leave that for the chop and drop method this year. I'll keep an eye on this throughout the different seasons. It's not that big, small area, easy to keep it cleaned up around and stuff. And we're just going to see how many things we can have growing here, and only planted it for one season. See, we got the watermelon here, but now I gotta say, right over there, she did plant that corn right there. That one stalk of corn she planted, and I think she planted a little bit of lettuce this year. But other than that, everything else was just the chop and drop method. Okay, I see another little stalk of corn over here that she hadn't maintained any in any way. So, you know, they're not the greatest corn stalks in the world. They could have been a lot healthier had she had more time to come down and devote to keeping it cleaned up and things like that. But to anybody out there that might be limited on funds or access to seeds, stuff like that, you might want to try this. This is a pretty good method, and the soil is very fertile. She hadn't even got the weeds and grass out or anything this year, just to see, you know, what it would do if she just totally left it alone. Over here's another pretty little watermelon. But yeah, we've done very well with this garden space to do nothing with it. I mean, no upkeep at all. And you wouldn't believe the stuff we've harvested. Had enough to give to neighbors and loved ones. Had a family member that was eating the Walmart watermelons. I'm like, nah, bro, you ain't got to do that. Nah, come over here and I'll give you a nice, tasty watermelon. He ate that watermelon after I gave it to him. I was like, wow, man, that had so much more flavor to it. It was unreal. I was like, yeah, that's why you don't need to go to Wally World to buy them when you got family that grows them. But yeah, to anybody interested in doing that, you might want to try that this fall. Just everything you chop down, drop it where it grew at. And next year, with the right vegetables you do that with, or fruit, I would imagine, you'll have it come back up next year in mad numbers. especially if you got something like squash or cucumbers. Oh man, those do really great. I'm gonna see what her strawberries is doing. I don't really know what she's intending to do with these. She hasn't done much with them this year at all. It's the ones I done the video on earlier this season that I had my chicken eating out of my hand. But yeah, that produced many strawberries this season, and I don't think she's touched it. To see all the grass growing out, I highly doubt she's touched it this year, but it's actually produced a lot of little tasty strawberries out of it. My chickens thought so anyway. They've mostly been what eat them, but they're there if we want them. But yeah, my wife had been working a lot, so she hadn't had time to do her garden this year. I would have done it for her, but I've been swamped myself, so my garden area has suffered bad this year. I started a little bit this year and then didn't have time to keep up with it, and so of course it looks like I didn't have time to keep up with it. I'm thinking now I may end up with a few potatoes, just a few at that, and my 2 corn stalks started out doing well, but I decided to do some weeding work mid-season. Yeah, well, pulled up the wrong roots with those weeds, and it just reminds me of the Bible scripture of separating the wheat from the tare. Yeah, I should have waited till harvest season to do that, because as I was doing it, I was thinking about that scripture, thinking, hey, am I doing this the wrong time of year? Probably. Yeah, well, I'll learn the hard way. And I did. Killed my corn, a lot of my potatoes. Yeah, so should have just let the weeds go and not messed with them, honestly. Would have been better off and got a better harvest if I would have done it that way. So if you're mid-season, you let the weeds get a little ahead of you due to a lack of time and busy doing everything else, just leave them. Because trust me, you go pulling the root systems up and things, oh gosh, it'll make a mess and ruin everything you got. But yeah, I just wanted to come and drop it on you guys and gals and show you with the chop and drop method. Just chop it, drop it, let it go. And you would be amazed at just how much the earth and its unique design will continue to produce fruits and vegetables for you for an entire another season. Y'all be sure to remember to like, share, subscribe, leave us a comment, drop us another pointer. Hey, we'll use all we can get. We're going through this race together. And remember always, have a good one.